decks because it takes quite a lot of space to lay out, and I don't have enough room to play on this desk with full-size playing cards. But before we get started with the game, I first wanted to bring out this book again. I haven't shown this book in a video in quite some time. It's a solitaire book from 1910 called Solitaire and Patience by George Hapgood. This book has many different solitaire games in it, and I've played a few of them on the channel so far. Here's Flower Garden. I did a special video on this game. So we played this, and then we played 3 variants of it. But the game we're going to be playing today is called Crescent Moon, or Waning Moon, as it's more commonly known nowadays. Let's just take a look at the layout first. You can see the tableau is dealt in this crescent shape. We're going to be playing it like this, but ours is going to look a little bit different. You'll see why. Now let's read the rules quickly. Played with 2 packs shuffled together. Lay out 13 packs of 3 cards each, face upward, in the form of a semicircle. As the aces appear, lay them in the form of an inner crescent, as shown in the first tableau, and build upon them according to suit. So here we've got the packets, and the aces, the foundations. The exposed cards of the 13 packets may be moved either onto the aces in upward or onto any of the other packets in downward sequence, always following suit. When you cannot build any longer, play out the remainder of the cards on a rubbish heap, placing them whenever possible. If you succeed in moving the whole of any of the packets, and thereby creating a vacancy, you may fill it with any exposed card. It is generally advisable to do so from one of the packets, rather than from the rubbish heap, so as to open out lower cards. It is admissible to examine the packets to see what may be the better card to take. So what that means is that, in this example, the piles are dealt into squared up packets. So you actually can't clearly see what's underneath them, but the rules say you are allowed to look underneath the cards to see what's there. When we play, we're just going to deal them out in spread out piles so we can see all the cards, because that's just a little bit easier and more intuitive. As there is no second turn of the rubbish heap, it is a difficult game to bring to a successful finish, unless very great care and judgment are exercised in moving the cards from one packet to another. The final result is gained when all the ace packets are crowned with their respective kings. And then you can see here, this is what it looks like at the end, with all the kings. So, this is the game we're going to be playing today, with the mini decks. So, let's take the cards out. I really love mini decks. I think they're so cool. And they're extremely useful if you want to play solitaire, but you don't have a lot of space. Now, I've done a video with the mini deck before, and if you remember that, I said that I'm not good at riffling mini decks. So when we shuffle mini decks, we're going to do a wash shuffle, which is where you spread out make sure that you're moving cards from the top to the bottom so that they're all getting mixed together and it's not just the same cards getting stuck on the top. By the way, I just wanted to thank everybody who enjoyed and subscribed from the Scoundrel video. That video has been doing a lot better than I expected, and I'm really glad people like it. So I'm going to be doing another sort of game like that as my next video. It should come out in a couple days, but it's going to be another dungeon crawler. So I hope you'll enjoy that. Okay, let's get these cards back together. This is the hard part for me, is getting all the cards back facing the same way. Okay. So by the way, if you didn't quite get the rules when I explained them in the book, I'll be going over them again, so don't worry. So to start off, we'll deal 13 cards in a crescent shape, and those will start our piles. So we do 4, 5, 6, and then the 7th should be the capstone, right in the middle. And then you try to make it symmetrical on both sides, but it's really hard. It probably doesn't look that hard to deal cards in a crescent shape, but it surprisingly is. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and 13. So it's a little uneven, but I think it looks okay. Now we deal 2 more cards on each of those piles. And like I said, we're gonna do it like this instead of doing it in those squared up packets. Because the rules say you're allowed to look at these cards anyways. So we may as well just do it like this, so we can see all the cards at the same time without needing to go and lift them up to see what cards are under. And I think we're gonna have to spread these out a little bit. So that's our tableau. I think it looks good enough. Let's talk about the rules of the game. So the goal of Waning Moon is to build up 8 foundation piles from ace to king in suit. Those foundation piles will be placed in a crescent shape in the center here. Each pile will start with an ace, then a 2 of the same suit will be put on top of the ace. Then we put a 3 and then a 4 and we go all the way up to king. Since this is a 2-deck game, that means there will be 2 foundation piles for each suit. On the tableau, we stack in descending sequence by suit. So for example, a 6 of diamonds can be placed on a 7 of diamonds, or a queen of clubs could be placed on a king of clubs. However, only the top card in each pile can be moved, and you can only move 1 card at a time. If you empty out a pile by moving all of the cards in it, leaving an empty space, you can put any card in the empty space. Once you've made all the moves you want to make on the tableau, you can start drawing from the stock. Cards are drawn from the stock one at a time and placed into a waste pile. The top card of the waste pile is available for play either to the tableau or to the foundations. There is no redeal, so once you've gone through the entire stock, you cannot flip the waste pile and start over. You must work through the waste pile, and if you run out of moves at that point, the game is over and you've lost. That pretty much covers the rules, so let's take a look at this tableau and see what we can do. to start by taking the ace of diamonds and the 2 of diamonds. We're not going to take the 3 quite yet. Now I see we can move this 6 to here and the queen to here, but we can't move this 3, so we can't get an empty pile. Your first goal in these sorts of games is to try to get an empty pile, because they're very valuable when you can put any card there. So that's the first thing we want to do. But I'm not seeing a path that lets us do that right now. I think I'm gonna start drawing, and we'll see what we get. Okay, I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take this 3, and then this 4. Just so that 4 doesn't end up getting stuck at the bottom of the waste pile. I'm gonna leave this. We get an ace of spades, but we don't have the 2. There's the other ace of diamonds, so let's make room for it. As much as I would like to take this, we don't have any way of getting to this 4, and we don't have the ace of hearts yet, so we're gonna have to leave it, unfortunately. Now we get the ace of hearts, but it's a little too late now. We can still take that though, but we have to leave the 3. We can't get back to it by now. Let's move this to the foundation. And we'll do this as well. Unfortunately, our diamond foundations are getting pretty uneven, which can cause problems. Oh, we can get an empty pile now. We move this here. The 6 comes over here. The queen goes here, and then the 3 goes onto the 4. So we've got an empty space now. I'm gonna do this, move this here, this 2 here, and this 4 over here. Let's move this 6 and 7 onto this 8. Then we'll move this 9 to the empty space and move the 4 onto the 5. We can now move the 10 and put the 9 on top of it. We can almost do the same with this, but we would need 1 more space. Or a 7 of spades, but we don't have that. So I guess we continue drawing. The other 2 of diamonds, which means we can take this 3 of spades. We can put that there on top of the 4. Ace of clubs. Let's take the 2. We'll leave the others for now. We get a king of diamonds. We can move the queen on top of that. The other ace of clubs. We'll move that jack onto the queen. Then we can get this 10 and 9 right there. And now we have 2 empty spaces. We can use those to get the 8, 7, and 6 of diamonds onto the 9. We've got a pretty nice stack going right here. Let's do this. We'll move this 7 onto the 8. Move this 9 to the empty space. Then we move this 10 onto the jack and this 9 onto the 10. Okay, I'm looking at the cards in the waste pile, and I think I want to do this. Let's take... No, not that yet. Let's move this queen and the king. So that takes up one of our empty spaces. We'll take this 3, move this 8 to the empty space, then take this 4, and this 5. Now let's move this king to the empty space, move the 8 to the 9. Actually, let's do this. Move this 6 over here. now the 5 and 4 can go on to, actually, we should have moved the 7 onto the 8 first. That's a mistake. Well, we'll see if I regret that. We might still be able to fix it like this. Okay. We saved it. We have 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 11. So we have 2 empty spaces right here and right here. Let's just make this a little nicer. We'll move the 9 and 8 here into their own space. Move this 6 onto the 7. Then move the 5 and 4 onto the 6. This 4 can now go to the foundation. That actually gave us an extra empty space as well. So that's nice. Let's continue drawing. A 7 of diamonds. We'll put that on the foundation. This can go here. I'm going to do this. I'm going to take this 8 and move it to an empty space. Then this 6 is going to go to an empty space. I'm going to move the 5 here, and then the 4, and then I'll move this 9 over onto the 10. So we're back down to 2 empty spaces, but I think this is a lot cleaner. The other ace of clubs. We almost have all our aces, we're just missing the other ace of hearts. Okay, let's do this. We'll take the 10 and the 9. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. Okay, we only have one empty space. So we can't move this 8 onto the 9. We need 2 empty spaces, then the 6, 5, and 4 can go over here, and then we can move the 8 and 7 onto here. But we need another empty space to do that. Here we've got a 2. We could make an empty space now, but I don't know if it's worth it to do that yet. We'll wait until we actually have a reason to do that. Actually, we can take 3 and 4 now. And because of that, I'm just going to take the 5, because it's pretty low chances that we're going to get put into a bad spot for taking that 5. Now we can move the 6, 5, and 4 over here, which allows us to move the 8 and 7 onto this 10. Actually, let's move the 10 onto the jack. I totally didn't even see we had that there. 13 piles can be a lot to focus on. Actually, even though this game is technically easier than 40 Thieves, I find that it takes longer to play because you have more to consider. Okay, we can now play all of these. I'm wondering if we should start trying to get through the waste pile before we draw any more cards. We have a lot of empty space, but I think we're missing the cards that we need to actually do something with our board. We would just have a lot of unrelated cards filling up empty spaces. So I think we want to keep drawing for now. There's our last ace. We'll put this queen here. We'll put this 9 and put the 8 on top. How many free spaces do we have? 2, 4, 6, 8. So we have 5 free spaces. We're not going to take that yet. Okay. That 5 means we can go up to 9 here safely. almost reached the end of the stock. We're gonna have to start working through the waste pile pretty soon. Okay, we'll play this 10, then the jack, move the 10 onto the jack, and there is our last card. So, let's take a look and see if we can work our way through this. But first, let's see what options we have for moving cards to the foundation. We're not going to move any of them yet, but we're going to keep an eye out just in case we need to make spaces. Actually, I'm seeing here we can get this 9 onto this 10. I don't think there's anything else besides that, so let's start working through the waste pile. Can we get this 9 pile onto that 10? We might be able to. And let me just make sure that we have the right amount. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 13. Okay. Now we'll move the 6 here. And now we can get the 9 and 8 onto the 10. And then we stack everything else back. Let's do this. We'll move this 4 and then move the 5 to the foundation. We get a jack here. I don't know if we can get all this stuff on the jack with only 3 empty spaces. We might need more than that. I don't know, let's try it. 1, 2, 3. Then the 6, 5, and 4. And actually we can do it. Nice. I forgot how many cards you can move when you have 3 empty spaces. You can move pretty big piles. Now this jack, and now the queen of clubs. Now we're definitely not going to be able to get all that onto the queen, I think. We'll wait. Okay. This queen can go on the king. We'll put this 10 here. This 9 on the 10. We can put this queen down and then get the jack on the queen. We've got another queen. But with only 2 empty spaces, I don't think we can get the jack onto the queen. Let's put this 7 here. We can stack this up to the foundation if we need to. I'll put this on the foundation. This 4 can go onto that 5. This 3 goes here. Queen onto the king. 6 onto the 5. This jack goes here. And with 2 empty spaces, we should be able to get this 10 pile onto the jack. We can put this king and then put the queen on the king. And I think we have won our first game of Waning Moon. Yes, we did. Nice. So let's just stack up our foundations. So let's take all the cards and shuffle again for game number 2. I think I forgot to mention it when I was going over the rules, but you might have noticed that this game is basically just 40 Thieves, but with 13 piles of 3 instead of 10 piles of 4. And yeah, that's basically all it is. Besides that, the rules are pretty much exactly the same. I have actually seen some sources say that Waning Moon is played with 13 piles of 4 cards each, but I think the majority of the sources I've seen say that it's 3 cards per pile. Alright, game number 2. I don't know why arranging the cards in a nice looking crescent is so difficult. It's so hard to make it even and symmetrical. Okay, game number 2. Unfortunately, we don't have many moves on the tableau this time. We can move this 5 to the 6 and the 8 to the 9, but we can't get rid of that 4 to make an empty space. We can move the 3 onto the 4, but that doesn't really get us anywhere. We don't have a queen for this. We can move this queen to the king, but that just reveals a king of hearts that we can't do anything with. I think we're just gonna have to start drawing and see what we get. Now that can be played, but I think because it would cover up that ace, I don't know if we want to do it. Let's wait on playing a 7. We get an ace of diamonds. A 2 of diamonds. We could play this 3, but I don't think we get anything out of it yet. So we're gonna wait. Another ace. Getting them pretty early. Ooh, our second ace of clubs. We could play this on the queen. I think we will. Let's play the 3 to the foundation now, so we can take this 4. the 6 as well, but I don't think there's any benefit to it yet. So we're going to leave them for now. 5, 6, 7. But again, I don't think we get anything out of it, so we're going to wait. We could play that, but I don't think we're going to. I would rather save this queen for this jack. Similarly, I would rather save this jack for this 10. We'll play this here. This we just have to leave, unfortunately. You hate to leave a 2 in the waste pile, but I don't see what else we can do. Now, I think, so we don't lose both 7s, I think I am gonna do this. We get the other ace. Now I wish we had a 10 to put this, because that's exactly what we need for this 8, but we don't have anywhere for it. An ace of hearts. No 5. If we had a 5, we would use it for this 4. Let's do this. Now we have a place for this 6, if we ever manage to get to it. This game is not going nearly as successfully as the last one. We are pretty far in the stock, and we do not have many cards to the foundation, but that finally lets us get a free space. Almost halfway through the stock, we finally got one. That took a long time. Let's move this 3 to the empty space. The 6 comes over, we take the 2 of clubs. Now it's safe to take the 3. Maybe take the 4 as well. Actually, it is safe to take the 4. I think we just move this to the foundation. Let's move this 9, take the 6, and move the 5. And we can potentially move these to the foundation if that's what we want to do. I wish we had another empty space so I could take this 8 off and we can get to the ace. Let's put this here, but we need a 9. I know we drew one of them. Did we draw both? Let's see. There's one. We only drew one, so the other 9 is coming. We just have to wait for it, then we can finally take that ace. I'm not going to take this because I want to leave this option here open. Let's do this. We'll move the king. This 3 comes over to the 4, and then we'll put this queen on the king. And I think we'll just take this to the foundation. Our diamond foundations are getting pretty uneven. Not a good situation to be in. We finally get an ace of spades, but honestly we can't even really do anything because we can't get to that 2. Honestly, I think here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna take these. Not that one, this one. So we get 2 empty spaces. We'll move these. Take this 2. Then take this 3. And 4. And 5. We get 2 empty spaces back. Now if we get the other 2 of spades. Actually, I think we drew it already, didn't we? Oh no, I must be thinking of a different 2. The 2 of diamonds. Okay. So the other 2 of spades is coming. When we get it, we'll move this 8 to the empty space and take the ace. Actually, let's do it now. Actually, this is wrong. I need a space for that. The other heart foundation. Here we go. We get another space. That's good. And I think what we're gonna do is this. We move the 9, then the 8 goes on top. And the 7 and 6 like that. That will once again go to the diamond foundation, making it even more uneven. Here we go. We can get another empty space with that. Hang on, I want to do something. Organize these piles just a little bit. Let me just make sure I'm not using too many. 4, 8, 12, 13. Okay, that's exactly the right amount. A little bit of organizing, we get that as well. Move this king to its own, and then the queen of spades goes on the king. Oh, I wish we had that 2 of diamonds way back in the waste pile. Okay, this lets us stack one more. 2 of hearts, but the other ace of hearts hasn't shown up yet. It's gotta be coming soon. I think we just play this. And hopefully it doesn't take too long to show up. Okay, nice. Alright, 2 empty spaces just like that. Diamonds, I don't like them. Or I guess I don't like that the 2 of diamonds is so far in the waste pile. Feels like it's holding everything up. Have we still not gotten that other 2 of spades yet? That's kind of crazy. There it is. And that is our stock. Can we work through this? I have a feeling this is going to be a tough one. But we will try. First, let's get... How many do we have? 4, 6, 8, 9, 10. So we should be able to get this jack to one of these queens. Now this can go here. So we've got 7 piles. So 6 empty piles. That's quite a lot. Maybe we can make it work. But already, we've got lots of cards that have nowhere to go except their own pile. Look at this. All our space is just getting eaten up. Okay, at least this can go on there. just take this because if we get the other jack, it just goes in an empty space, which actually no, it would go right here. So I think that's fine to take that. Okay, this is actually looking pretty good now. Once we get back to that 2 of diamonds, then I will be fully convinced. I might already be fully convinced, actually. This is going pretty well, and that is huge. There it is. I think it's over. I think we win. And I just realized we can do this. I didn't see that right away. Oh, this is definitely one. I'm not even going to bother moving that queen onto the king. There we go. Our second game of Waning Moon is a victory. And there we go. Once again, our 8 kings. And we will be doing one more game tonight before we finish off this video. As is tradition with these 2-deck videos, we usually do 3 games. And since 2-deck solitaires tend to take longer, it usually makes for an extra long video. Not the length of a special, but over an hour, usually. Which makes them a bit difficult to edit, but I quite like 2-deck solitaires, though. I honestly should play more of them. I mostly play 1-deck solitaires just because they're generally easier to set up and kind of strategize because there's less cards to think about. But 2-deck solitaires can be very interesting. My next video is going to be another dungeon crawler. Not Scoundrel, although I do plan to return to Scoundrel and play it again. But it is going to be a different one. Like I said, I found many of those dungeon crawling type card games, and I want to try all of the ones that I find fun. I think we probably went with the best one first. Scoundrel is a modern classic, but I think some of the other ones will be fun too. Let's deal out game number 3 of Waning Moon. So far, 2 wins, no losses. A fairly easy game, but still interesting to think realize that 13 is a lot of tableau piles, and it can be difficult to find the space for it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and 13. Okay. Starting our last game of the night with an ace of spades and a 2 of spades. We can get an empty pile, actually. We move this queen over here, and then the 9 and 8 from here go onto the 10, and then this 6 can go onto the 7. So we've got an empty pile already. That's nice. We haven't even drawn a single card from the stock. Speaking of, I should probably draw the first card. Unfortunately, losing this 3 is a bit rough. The very last card in the waste pile. Not ideal. An ace of hearts. If we had a second space, we could move this 8 and the 7 and the 6 could go on it. We also have the option of moving this 3 to an empty space, moving this 6, moving this 2 to the foundation. This 4 can go to the 5 and the jack can go over to the queen, but we can't get our empty space back because there's another 3 of diamonds here. We can't take either of them, not until we get an ace and a 2 of diamonds, or a 5 and a 4 for this pile, but I would like to not bury the 2 too much. Another 2, and we're gonna have to lose it. Unfortunate. I think we will put this here. Oh, that's kind of nice. We get our second empty space. And now we can do this. Another ace, but no 2 of clubs just yet. This is going to seem like kind of a weird move, but I think I want to do this. We lose an empty space, but I think this is worth it. That's nice. And now these can go here. Actually, we'll put this here first. This goes there. If we had a jack of spades, I might do this 8 to here, the queen to the king, the queen of diamonds to the king of diamonds, and then the queen of spades to the king of spades, but we would lose our empty space. Okay. Now if we had another empty space, we might be able to get this 9 pile onto the 10, but we don't have one yet. ace of hearts. That's pretty nice. See, now we get this, but I'm still glad I didn't take the queen. Closing up that empty space would have been a very risky move when I don't know that's coming. We can play this and play the jack over it. We'll play it to this one. We might want to get this off that pile to get to that 3 of spades. An ace of diamonds. This goes here. No 9 of clubs. And there we have one last ace, and it's the other ace of spades. We have all the other aces. There's a 2. We can take this 3. And we'll take this as well. And I think we'll put this here, not to the foundation just yet. Our other 2 of diamonds, and we can go up to 5 here. I think we will play this 8. I'm hoping we get a 9. Actually, let's see if we already drew. There's one. We did draw one of the 9s of clubs. The other one is still in the deck. And I'll play it to this one. I mean, I can always just switch it back and forth, so it's not a big deal, but this can go here. And another one we can't take. We'll do this. This will go there. I guess we'll put this here, but I don't know if it's worth it. Another 2 of clubs. Okay, that's nice. And we might want to take that 7. Actually, I think I should have taken this pile earlier, and then when this pile was only 4 cards, I could have moved it over here. But now I've lost that opportunity. I need a 3rd empty space if I want to do that. I can actually take this safely now. Oh, wait a minute. Move that jack to the empty space, and then the 8 and the 7 come here. I don't think that actually gets me another empty space, but we'll play this to the foundation. Same with this. That's actually safe because we're up to 2. This can go here, and now these can come over. And now I think we actually do have an extra empty space, and we might finally be able to move that 9 pile onto the 10. I hope. And let me just make sure that's not too many piles. So we've got 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 13. Okay. So now the 5 and 4 come over here, and the 7 and the 8 go in their own piles. The 9 comes over like that. And now we've got a nice big heart stack over here. Okay, we can put this down and then move the queen and jack on top of it. There's our other ace of spades. So we've got all our aces now. be a tough one. But I've said that for the past two, and we won both. So, it might not be a tough one. We will see. We've got 4, 8, 10 piles, 3 empty piles to work with. Oh, we can take that. And this can go here. Alright. This 8 and 7 can come over here. Let's move this king to an empty space and play the 3. And that will go to an empty space, and we'll put the 9. 8 goes on top. This 4 can go to the foundation, so can that 4. 7 can go here. This 8 can go on the 9. This king has to go to an empty space. We only have 1 empty space remaining. This might be bad. I think this might be a loss. And I think we have nowhere for this jack, and I don't think we can move any other cards to the foundation to create an empty space. So I think this final game ends on a loss, unfortunately. If only we could move this 9 pile over here onto this 10. If we got this jack out of the way, I don't think it would have helped because we don't have anywhere we can. Well, we could have put it here, and then we would have got a 6. We could have put it there. I'm curious if we could have gotten past that jack if we would have won. And it's looking like we would have actually. Or we would have had a chance at least if we could get past this pesky jack. But our queen is stuck here. No king to move these two, otherwise I would have done it earlier. And I think that is it for this game. Well, unfortunate, but we still won 2 out of the 3 games tonight, so I'm definitely satisfied with that. But hopefully that shows that even though this game is easier than 40 Thieves, it's not necessarily free. And I'm sure that game was winnable if I'd played it differently. There were definitely mistakes I made, and I'm sure if you noticed them, feel free to leave a comment and let me know what I could have done differently, because I'm always looking to try to improve. So, I will definitely take any advice you have. But that is going to be it for this video. I hope you liked it. A fun 2-deck solitaire that's on the easier side, but not too easy. Like I said, my next video is probably going to be a dungeon crawler, so I hope you're excited for that. But for now, I just want to say thank you for watching. I hope you have a good night and sleep well.